Theresa May will go and have a fair few private discussions with Juncker and Barnier and a few others. In private, she'll get a different story to what they'll then come out and say they've said. And this is absolutely, I'm amazed at the naivety in that place that says, well, we mustn't have no deal. Well, no one wants no deal. Business doesn't want it. Germany doesn't want it. France would hate it. And they're not going to say so. They go down to the wire. The EU have previous on this. And what's more, they will budge a bit on the backstop. They won't call it change. They'll call it clarification. And somewhere they'll work in the next sort of 40 days into a place where the backstop can be melded so the EU does not have the ability to say you will not leave the EU. But apart from that, there will be a way in which the backstop can work. That's where we're going to work towards. A lot of egos have got to take a place back. What business needs, I chair 6 companies from different sectors, different sizes, different parts of the country. And it's not Brexit we're frightened of, actually. You know, we're the 5th biggest economy on earth. We have not got a problem with it. What we have a problem with is uncertainty, lack of stability, lack of predictability, and you can't touch the bottom of the swimming pool when you're going along. And I just wish that the political class, and I guess I include myself in it because I'm in the Lords, the political class have let the country down because they have no understanding of the way it's working in Brussels and they have no understanding of the way business is. They think business is all about Airbus and JLR, and we're really glad they're here and we love them, but actually business is about a businesswoman today in Newcastle, mortgage, house on the line, rarely sees her kids, employing 20 people, saying, just please do it. And that actually is where I think Parliament, in this self-obsession about little bits, actually are letting the country down. But where are we? What's next? It'll be a perambulation in private, which I know you guys won't like, but it'll be the way that it happens. But when I hear people like Chukwuemeka saying, well, it's all Yvette Cooper, well, Barnier's already said he won't accept it. Well, of course he said that. Doesn't mean he means it.
So what does the Prime Minister or her team of negotiators need to do, in your view, what approach do they need to take to get people like Michel Barnier, to get people like Jean-Claude Juncker to publicly say, we will try to accommodate you, even though they've repeatedly said they won't?
I do actually believe at last, you know, when Corbyn stood up last night, he had no choice, did he? But when he stood up and said, we will talk to you, I think at last, and this is where Theresa May can be criticised, I think no one, even her worst enemy, would never criticise her stoicism and her, you know, imagine waking up every morning of your life and you know today's going to be worse than yesterday. And that's gone on for months, and I admire that enormously. But where she's been deficient is not taking sufficient numbers of people, even on her own side, but with her in every step of the way. And she could have done that so much better. And in that I include the European side of it. And so there's a little bit of, oh, well, it's all happening now. Now, there's part of the all happening now, which will all happen in negotiations, especially with Europe, because it happens at 5 to midnight. But she could have got a greater phalanx of more like-minded souls with some momentum earlier than now. I don't mean 6 months earlier, because you need deadlines to focus minds. But I do mean possibly 8 weeks ago.
Now, you don't speak for the British government, but members of the cabinet, former members of the cabinet who do this morning, have not been able to provide any clarity when it comes to what these, quote, alternative arrangements to the Irish backstop could be. Do you, as someone who's watched this process very closely, have any idea what those arrangements could be?
If you mean by that, do I know what they could be from a point of view inside the cabinet room? No, I don't. You and I are both on the outside. Do I think where there is some hope if they work this way, it is actually that they must not leave Northern Ireland out to dry, they must not have a border in the Irish Sea, and they must not in any way, shape or form have a border, a physical, touch it, feel it, hate it border. Well, what they could do, if they're going to stop the one thing that's annoying so many people and forcing them into lobbies they don't want to go, it is this concept that the EU can say, no, you can't leave. Because 17.4 million people voted for many reasons, but the one thing they did vote to do was go. And
that's to do with the European Union, not the customs union. That's what the backstop relates to, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but the two things are trying. The withdrawal agreement has that as one of the parts. In fact, I think that's a sticking point, to be honest. And you see, you could pass a rule that says in that agreement they will only not let you go if it's something to do with the border. But that won't work because Macron will just say, you're not going till you give me your fishing. And Spain will say, you're not going till you give me Gibraltar. And we'd say, well, just a minute, that's got nothing to do with the backstop. Oh, sorry, pal. And so there's an amazing mistrust built up over 40 years about
that's about moving the goalposts. I want to ask you about another goalpost that seems to have been moved. Liam Fox made these promises a couple of years ago. We all know what they are. He's now acknowledged that just a couple of months away from no deal, he doesn't have anything like the kind of trade deals ready that he had hoped he would have. Parliament has now definitively ruled out no deal. How concerning is that for you, given your prior experience in that kind of a role?
I just say definitively ruled out, probably not. It was not a binding vote, and secondly, it was only by eight votes. But on the other hand, they have put up and said, oh, it's all right, I'm just going to remove the last negotiating lever the Prime Minister's got and then blame her when she gets it wrong. The hypocrisy is amazing. But in terms of doing difficult trade deals, I would say that the ability to put balls in the net for 80% of what he wants will be quicker than anybody thinks. Will it be as easy as he thought? No. I think what happened 2 years ago and a year ago is I think everybody on the Brexit side, be they in government or be they the most passionate lobbyists, I think they all thought the country would come together more early than it's going to. I think they all thought Remainers would say, well, we lost, let's move on, not try and sabotage it. So the negotiators, be they EU or be they, I don't know, Australia or China or India, they've been able to say, well, you're a divided church, I'm not talking to you till you're unified. And I think the Foxes of this world a while ago thought there'll be a unified country that he represents. And, you know, whether it's Gina Miller or Yvette Cooper, whether it's Jeremy Corbyn, whoever it may be, whether it's Jacob Rees-Mogg and Boris Johnson, they've all tried to sabotage it in one way or another. It's very, very, very difficult to sit in and I've done it, sit in a negotiating room and say, I represent this, when everybody knows you don't. You only represent half of it. That's your problem.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.